Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to a brand new Let's Play. Today we're starting Persona on the PSP. This game was released by Atlas in 2009, and it is a remake of a game that originally came out in 1996 for the PS1. We did get the PS1 version of the game in America, but it had massive changes. They whitewashed the entire cast. They cut out an entire, fourth of the game, I would say. And it's just largely a very different experience. This version of the game has new music, new FMVs. It has slightly different dungeons in a lot of places, slightly different box layouts. And this is a game that I've been wanting to LP for several years now. It was on my LP radar. I think when I wanted to do it ever since it first came out, right? But I started doing test runs and stuff for it in 2014 at the end of the year, around November, and I shelved it because I was probably in a bad mood or something, more than likely, to tell you the truth. And I didn't want to deal with a lot of random battles in the LP, but I put it in my bucket, and I have a folder on my desktop called the bucket, and in the bucket is just all the different half-baked LP information documents that I have. Not just LPs. I put all kinds of information in there. I have a bestiary that I was building for Breath of Fire 3 in there. I have one for Breath of Fire 2 in there. Just basically anytime I get information that I find interesting and I want to save for a game, I put it in my bucket. So I finished Live a Live and I was like, I don't have anything ready. What am I going to do? I'll check the bucket. And Persona was in there. I took the notes that I had. They were about half done, I would say. And I took those. I did a test run. Fleshed out the notes on the last half of the game. The test run went really well. So now we're doing an LP of it. By the way, this intro here, it spoils the entire game. I hope you paid attention, because there will be a test. So, Persona. I know I just did SMT2 recently, but I think this is a different enough experience that it doesn't really infringe, because they're really two vastly different series. And I've talked a little bit about that in the SMT videos, because most people are more familiar with the Persona series than they are with the original SMT umbrella. And without going into, I'll go into it a little bit, what I feel the two main, the main differences between the two series are, but I'll do my best not to rant about it for 20 minutes. By the way, this right here makes enemies do, it just changes the amount of damage you take. It's plus or minus 20%. It's not really that big of a change in the game at all. So we're just gonna play on normal. The game is easy. It's pretty freaking easy. But back to Persona. So the main difference, if you've never played an SMT game, or you've only played SMT games, or you've never played whatever, because I've met people that are like, oh, that's a Persona game, right? And they're talking about SMT, because I was in a chat room talking about SMT4 when it came out, and it was like, oh yeah, well I don't want to play that. That's about high school kids, right? No. The main difference between SMT and Persona is, I think, 2 points. They mainly differ. So you have gameplay aside, we're talking story and thematics. The 2 points where they differ: you have scope of the problem, and you have interactions with the party. In a Persona game, the scope of the party is very localized. In a SMT game, you have this big picture thing where you have the forces of law versus the forces of chaos, and they're vying for control of the hearts and minds of humanity. And they have this big conflict that basically destroys the world. In this game, you have a thing that happened, and you have a band of plucky adventurers who are going to go and fix the problem. And like I said, the problem is generally localized to a small area. Like, the problem can balloon to a point where it threatens the whole world, but it's still localized in a small area. Well, you know, you could say that the SMT games, while they largely take place in just like in and around Tokyo, like you're only seeing a small slice of this larger conflict. And in regards to party interaction, in Persona games, everybody's friends, everybody's happy. There's interpersonal conflict and stuff, you know, just because their characters are not, they're people. But in at the end of the day, everybody's on the same page. Everybody is working towards the same goal usually. And in SMT games, you start off that way usually with your party members, and then as you meet, you get intertwined in this big overarching law versus chaos thing. Your parties go, no, I want this, and then, or no, I want this, and you end up in conflict over ideals. So Yuka Ayase, by the way, I looked up what Kogal is, and it's basically, from what I can tell, the Japanese equivalent of a Valley Girl. So that's interesting. She is also the female protagonist of SMT If, which is a game I would really, really like to play, but Aeon Genesis hasn't finished his patch of it yet, and I eagerly await that. So, a lot of ways, I've heard SMT If called Persona Zero. It has a lot in common with the Persona series. So I'll try to go through this as quickly as possible, but at the same time show you as much as I can. There's one of the things I really like about this game is, well, first of all, they summarize everybody with a quick little one-sentence summary, so you kind of get a general idea of everybody's personality right off the get-go, and like whether or not you agree or disagree with that, whatever, from a storytelling perspective, I think it's neat. But the thing that I think is really awesome is most of the travel in this game is like first person, like SMT 1 and 2. Like, you go through the dungeons and the buildings and stuff like that, but when you go into a room, you end up in a space like this with the little sprites and all that, and you can often talk to your party, and they basically have something to say about every NPC, every room in the game, and you get a real sense of their personalities from this. It's really neat. And I feel like that this is something that this game does better than even the modern Persona games. And I think they can do that because this game is not like Persona 3 and 4 and 5, where it's time limit. It doesn't take place over the course of months. It takes place over, a couple of days maximum. So your party is always with you, and they're seeing the same things you're seeing. So, but it's neat. I think you get a real good sense of your party's personalities. One of the new additions to this game is they added some FMVs that were not in the original. In the original, there was, I think, just the FMVs for Philemon, and then there was one to show you, if you tried to go back to the school after a certain point, which interestingly enough they cut from this version of the game.
What is...
Something wrong with your lips there, buddy.
It's too late now to ask to... Whoa!
So anytime Mark speaks, all I hear is Donatello. I hear nothing like that voice actor. I only hear Donatello.
What the...
If you don't know what I'm talking about, he voiced Donatello in the 2003 Ninja Turtles. So, Philemon is an interesting character that he's kind of taken a background seat in the later Persona games, although he is confirmed to actually be there. Although, I don't know about Persona 5, and I'm kind of iffy on Persona 4, but he is confirmed to be present in Persona 3. Which means he exists in Persona 4, because Persona 3 and 4 take place, for sure, in the same world. They don't reference... They only do, like, minor... And we know that because of the 10,000 Persona 4 spin-offs. But anyway...
Welcome. It's a pleasure to meet you. I am Philemon, a dweller between consciousness and unconsciousness. And now, a simple test. Can you state your name?
But, like I said, I'm not 100% sure if this is the case in 4, but word of God is that anytime you see a butterfly in Persona 3, that's Philemon. At the beginning, at one point in Persona 5, you see a butterfly, but it's accompanied by a woman's voice, so it's not clear if that's supposed to be Philemon or another character who I'm not going to say because it would be a spoiler for the game, but anyway. So this is my go-to for SMT games when they ask for my last name, first name. And it's been my go-to ever since I played Raido Kuzunoha versus the Soulless Army, which is another game I would desperately like to LP one day. And they even asked for a nickname, which is neat too, because like, so I get my cake and I get to eat it too, so. Let's see. But Philemon's an interesting character because he is this deity, and they don't go into it in this game, but basically like his deal is he's in a bet with another god, and the other god's cheating, so he's giving personas out to even the playing field.
Splendid. There aren't many who can remember their identity when in this domain. It seems you passed that test. But tell me this, are you aware of the many and varied selves you harbor within you? The self suffused with divine love. The self capable of demonic cruelty. People live by wearing different masks. Your current self may be only one of those innumerable masks. You, though, you have a very firm grip on your identity. I respect your strong will. In return, I grant this power. Persona. It is the power to summon the selves within you, the gods and the demons you harbor. The time is soon when you will need this power. Now, you must return to your proper time and place.
I hope that didn't click too much. I was choking to death there briefly, so I had to mute my microphone. But one interesting gameplay difference between this and 3, 4, and 5, 2 shares this as well, is that everybody can wield multiple personas. And I've seen speculation online, and my personal opinion is that it's because Philemon directly hands these people their ability to use personas, whereas basically there's divine intervention involved in almost in everybody who can use the power of the Full. And the people who can't, who only are stuck with one persona, they unlocked it themselves. So that's interesting. You know, I think that's got to do with, you know, teaching your being taught something and then like teaching it to yourself, like being taught by a teacher versus teaching, you know, yourself. Now, all these songs actually have lyrics, like official lyrics on the wiki, and I'll try to remember to link them. Like the intro song, most of that is actually English, and there's a lot of English in this, but you can't really tell because of the singer's accent. And I don't think this, trying to remember where else this singer, because this is I think this is the singer that did the baby, 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 baby. That song, I can't think of the name. Something Destruction. The battle song from Persona 3. I think it's the same singer. I don't remember if it's the same singer for Battle Song and 4 and all that. But anyway, so most of the moving around is done like this. And if you go into an area, your party members will split up and you can talk to them and get their opinion on what's going on in the room. At this point, mostly they tell you, we just need to go to the hospital. But Yuka, Eriko, and Hidehiko, they are have already played the Persona game, apparently, and have already seen the butterfly. And they are also potential party members. There are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different party members in this game. And depending on which path you go, you get in the Seibot quest, you get 4 fixed party slots. So you get your main character, Mark, Nanjo, and another person who we haven't seen yet, and then you get your choice of the other 3 people plus another hidden character who we're going to be going for. And talking to that teacher in there was the first step to that. So, and then after that, yeah, there's a dash in this game that's not in the PS. This look how fast I'm moving. It's really easy to overshoot where you want to go, but I like it. I don't mind that. So this is the 8th party member, Reiji Kido. In the PS1 version, they call him Chris. He's got that scar on his head, and he's got his shirt opening to reveal his rippling abs. And he's the party member we're going to be going for in the Seibot quest. That's oddly specific to think of somebody. I really do like the music in this game. I do wish that let's see, we need to go to over here.